there's a new wave at quarterback, and Brock Purdy is spearheading it. All of a sudden, teams see that his skill set, his price point, his journey, his story works. And there's other people sort of following it. And now the Bengals have Jake Browning. He was undrafted. He's a little bit older than Brock Purdy. He was a 4-year starter at Washington. He was prolific at Folsom High School. Outside of Sacramento, he's local. And now he's picking up right where he left off. He was on a practice squad for 3 years. He was a backup. Now he's starting, and he's just like Purdy, having instant success on a team that's supposed to be a playoff Super Bowl contender. What do you think of this new wave of quarterback in the NFL?
Well, first of all, it's so similar to Purdy. They had this guy, he was hanging around, right? Probably got very few snaps, if ever, in practice. He was hanging around, and we thought they were dead when Burrow went out. But all of a sudden, he's really good in the same way that Purdy is. He's quick thinking. He understands the defense very well. He throws well enough, very precise, and gets it out fast. Yep. So what I'm thinking is, and you can amplify on this, NFL teams had a paradigm for what they wanted in a quarterback, i.e. Trey Lance, someone who was a physical, exemplar, someone they could develop into a great quarterback. Then there are these guys who no one really pays attention to, and no one paid attention to Brock, last guy taken in the draft. They may not have the physical stature. They may not run as fast. They may not throw as that stupid phrase. They may not have the upside, but they were 4-year starters in high school, 4-year starters in college. They learned the game, and these guys are around. And what may be happening, and I think it'll improve the league, teams may be saying, we don't want to look for Trey Lances anymore or people like that. We want to look for experienced guys who we won't develop, but can come in right now and play. Right. What do you think, Iggy?
I think that's exactly the trend. And I think what's happened is the league has changed since Bill Walsh was around. When Bill Walsh was around, there was a lot of practice time. There was a lot of time where coaches could develop quarterbacks hands-on. Two a days in the offseason. That's all gone. So it's not a developmental league anymore. The veterans want it that way, so the young guys can't take their job. It's like, good luck developing the next Patrick Mahomes. Maybe the best coaches can do it, but it's really, really, really hard to do. And even if it did work, you'd have to trade up for the guy. You have to pay him a lot of money. It's so difficult. The idea that there are these just ready-made college quarterbacks hanging around at the end of the draft or after the draft who can perform well right away if you have a good team and a good system, that changes everything. That changes everything. And it might be the best thing that ever happened to the NFL, because so many times you have these nationally televised games and the quarterbacks just suck and the games suck. But the Jake Brownings and Brock Purdy's of the world really give the league hope.
And it means you don't pay them a lot right off, and you can get other good players around them. It equalizes things, and it makes, instead of stars all over in certain places, you have more balanced, better teams.
Right. And it's like, instead of asking a quarterback to be the hero, just ask him to be like a distributor. Get the ball into the hands of really good players quickly and efficiently and on time. And it's like it's funny. We're talking about all these epiphanies that the league is having. Oh, accuracy is more important than arm strength. Oh, height doesn't really matter that much. Oh, you just need a little bit of mobility. Like, didn't Bill Walsh figure that out in like the 70s? The 60s?
Look, Joe Montana was a 3rd-round draft choice.
Right.
He wasn't all that desired, but Bill saw what he could do with Joe. Now, I want to say one thing, and I've never really checked it out. I was told by insiders that he wanted Phil Simms over Joe. Have you heard that?
I have heard that. Phil Simms went in the 1st round, and I think Bill thought he was going to fall to him. I think he went to a small school, but the word was out. The Giants took him, maybe because they heard that Bill liked him, and Bill apparently was devastated. Devastated. They didn't get Phil Simms. That's what I heard, but I don't know.
That's what I heard too. Now, Bill was so emotional. He was devastated every day about something. But yes, I'm sure that bothered him. but that's a case where he lucked out.
And I
Now, Phil
believe
Simms was a good quarterback,
yes, looked
but he
out.
wasn't Joe Montana.
Kind of like how Kyle Shanahan wanted Trey Lance and not Brock Purdy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wasn't the story that Tony Rizzano was the one who not did discover Joe Montana, but recommended Joe Montana to the 49ers once they missed out?
Tony Rizzano. Are you there, Iggy? Because I think you may have. Are you there?
Hmm?
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Here's the thing. It's interesting. Tony Rizzano's son is with the Raiders and is
Dave.
Dave, very nice man. Tony Rizzano wanted to take credit for a lot of things. And by the way, I think Tony Rizzano really was good. But this tells you more about Bill than about Tony, because I think Tony came out with a book and Bill said, Tony is claiming that he picked Montana and he said, Lowell, it was all me. That's what he said. It was all me. So I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, and I never talked to Tony about it or Dave about it.
Well, I'm glad that Tony took credit for it himself. That's always humble. All right, hold on. Steve L says, what I love about Purdy is that he's playing like a little kid. I can tell he's having so much fun that rubs off on the other players. Maybe that's why someone earlier compared him to Steph Curry. He's small. He seems like he has that little kid exuberance and joy. I see what you mean. He's also very stoic, though. Very serious.
I was going to say that. You can see him smiling when they score, after they score. He doesn't walk away. He's not like Brady. You know what I mean? He doesn't walk away. He embraces. He's all of that. He's like a kid. But during the game, he is a no messing around guy. Stoic, I would say intense, serious. You wouldn't mess with him.
MM Forever says, who was better, Whitey Ford or Koufax?
Koufax, a better pitcher.
What kind of question is that? I would not do that.
Hey, hold on. In addition, Koufax, a Jewish guy from Bensonhurst, I was from Flatbush. It's the next neighborhood over. Plus, of course, Whitey Ford had a longer career, but if, say, in a game, you have to win this game, Sandy Koufax over anybody.
How about that? Mike Parcher says, why not sign Zach Ertz? Diggs hit on George Kittle is scary. What do you think about Oitz? I think he's done.
What do they need Oitz for?
Because they're Oitz. I don't want Oitz. Paul says at this point, do you think Kyle Shanahan is underrated, overrated, or neither?
Let's see how he finishes the season.
Yeah, let's see how credit. Yeah, let's see how he finishes. Joshua Bourne says, how much of it comes down to Brock Purdy's fearlessness, his knowledge, his confidence? Lance scared me when he said he didn't know or how to slide.
I'd say among his great qualities, he's fearless, but it wouldn't strike me as his best quality. By the way, I want to say something. I never really liked Jimmy as a quarterback, but I thought he was fearless. You don't like what I'm saying?
He was. Part of me felt like he was fearless, and then he'd get hurt, and then he wouldn't really want to come back until he was 100% healthy. Because he's a little afraid of playing and not putting his best foot forward.
Okay,
but
there's
in the pocket he was fearless. Yeah, I would agree.